Hello and welcome. My name is Dennis Liante and I love playing the guitar. Today we will be learning about intervals, the musical ruler. If you have not seen the video that I made about the chromatic scale, watching that first will help you understand the concepts more clearly. But if not, let's review the chromatic scale. The chromatic scale is a sequence of 12 notes arranged in half steps. It comes from the Greek word chroma, which means colors. We can say that the scale contains all tonal colors. So how do we extract 12 chromatic scales from the 12 notes? I now present you the first rulers, or this is ruler number 1. It has numbers 1 to 12 and this will help us figure out all 12 chromatic scales. If you look at the guitar, the way it's tuned up, this is a 24 fret guitar. Most of you will probably have 22 frets. This would be your highest note, D. And then some guitars have 21 frets only. Okay, so this one is 24 frets. The way the guitar is set up, and from the previous video that I made, we can see that it's just 4 octaves, okay? So the first set of notes is here, the lowest string, so E. And then it repeats when it gets to the next octave, right? It repeats. And then it repeats again, getting to the next note, the next E. And then the last repeat would be the 4th octave, okay? So it's really just all of the notes that we play on the guitar is really just 4, 12 sets of 12 notes, okay? So to extract all of the 12 notes, or 12 chromatic scales, all you need to do is place the 1, choose a note, and then just place the 1 on there, okay? Okay, so this would be all of the 12 notes, and of course this is obviously easy to understand, right? If you want the G chromatic scale, then all you need to do is just put the 1, okay? But what you need to understand is the concept of the moving 1, okay? The 1 moves, and if you move that, everything moves, okay? You have to visualize it 3 ways, okay? So number 1, you have to visualize notes linearly, okay? So how the notes go up and go down. So that's why I have these 2 arrows, because this doesn't have to be the guitar. This applies to piano and other instruments, okay? The instrument like piano actually goes lower, bass guitar can go lower than this. And then now we have guitars that are 7-string and 8 strings, right? We've been seeing a lot of multi-scale guitars nowadays that can go up to 8-string. Okay, so this idea applies even in other instrument. Okay, so it can go higher or lower depending on the direction. Okay, number 2, visualize the notes on the actual fretboard. Okay, so once you have understood that you can move around the 1, then you have to, of course, visualize this on your instrument, in this case the guitar. Okay, so you have figured out the notes from E to E from the previous videos, and then you can see that there's also an E here, which goes to 12 notes again to reach another E. So the more you work on this, the more you will become familiar with the idea. And then number 3, take note of the repeated notes, okay, as pointed out on my first video. A lot of the notes just repeats, right? For example, this E to E is the same as this E going to this E. It's the same as this E going to this E, right? When you're starting out, it's actually confusing because all of the notes just repeat, and you would think that there's just so many notes in the guitar. But if you look at it this way, it's really just 4 sets of 12. The next ruler that I want to show you is the interval ruler. This is the intervallic ruler. Okay, now the numbers 1 to 12 is replaced by the actual name of the intervals. So let's define intervals first. An interval is the pitch distance between two notes. Any combination of two notes from the chromatic scale will have a specific name, distance, and sound. Closely studying and listening to each relationship will explain a lot of the questions we ask in music. So R would be root, and then the second note, which used to be which is number 2, is now called minor second, and then the symbol would be flat. Flat means one step down. And then the triangle, every time you see a triangle in music, it just means major. So it's the major second. Okay, all of this will make sense later. And then the fourth note is now flat 3 or minor third. Okay, major 3, because of the delta or triangle, is the fifth note. Okay, major third. Now, perfect fourth would be the sixth note. Okay, perfect fourth. And then flat 5 or diminished 5, or sometimes we call it augmented fourth or the tritone, would be the seventh note, what used to be 7. Okay, the eighth note is perfect fifth. Okay, we call that perfect fifth. Flat 6 would be the ninth note, and then major 6 would be the 10th note. Flat 7 or minor 7 is the 11th. Major 7 is the 12th note. And then we go back to 1 again. So this is the actual names that we use. We don't say the 6th note. Okay, we just say, because when you say the 6th note, that would be the major 6, right? Unless you say flat 6. So we don't really use 1 to 12. This is what we use in real music. Okay? So now, choose any note and you will know the intervals. Okay? You will know the distances of each note. Big idea number 1. The 1 or the root can be moved to all 12 notes. Number 2. If the 1 moves, all of the notes related to it also moves the same distance. Number 3. The distance between where the 1 is and the other note determines the interval name. Number 4. The intervallic relationship name does not work in reverse. So we've already proven big idea number 1, that the 1 can be moved around to be able to find all of the members of each note. Okay, for example, the fifth of G, we have to put the 1 on the G to be able to find the perfect fifth of G, which is D. Okay, same goes with the other notes. If we choose B and we want to find the minor second of B, and that would be C. Okay, if we want to find the minor second of D, we just move to D. So the 1 moves. So for big idea number 2, we have also proven that already, because if the 1 moves, all of the interval also moves with it. So if you're at G and the major second is A, and then you move to G sharp, everything also moves up. Okay, the major second would be an A sharp. Okay, so it just moves with it. If it's an E, everything goes slower, and it would be an F sharp. For big idea number 3, so the note distance, that's why I'm calling this a ruler, determines the interval, right? So if we have the root and perfect fourth, it's the distance between B and E that determines the interval. Okay, so in this case, it's the 6th note. right? Even if you move it everywhere. A would be a D, so that's this distance. It determines the interval name. Okay. For big idea number 4, the relationship, the intervallic relationship, does not work in reverse. So how do we prove that? Okay. So let's look at E and A. The relationship between E and A is perfect fourth if we are using E as the number 1. But it doesn't work in reverse because the fourth of A is a D. It doesn't work in reverse, right? So if you have seen that the fourth of E is A, the fourth of A is not E. You have to move the 1 to be able to find the fourth of A, which is D. It doesn't work on reverse. For example, the fourth of D is not A. It's not going to work on reverse. You have to put the number 1 or the root to D in order to find the perfect fourth of D, which is G. So you can see how all of the perfect fourths, okay, if we are following that. Okay, so G would be a C. Okay, so we have proven all of the big ideas. There are 2 thought patterns that we can use to understand how we name intervals. Number 1 is via chromatic scale, where the chromatic scale is the parent scale and we extract the scales, modes, chords, and intervals by omitting notes. Number 2 is via the major scale, where the major scale is the parent scale and we raise or lower and omit or add notes in between to extract scales, modes, chords, and intervals. Both thought patterns work and are interchangeable, but this series of videos chooses the chromatic scale as the parent scale. If you are interested with the other things that I do, I play guitar for the band Gloryfall. We produce original music and you can find us here. If you need help or clarification in any of the videos that I have produced so far, please comment below so that I can include that in a future video. So what is a melodic interval? A melodic interval is 2 notes played in a sequence. So if we use the interval ruler and look for the fourth of D, that would be a G. So if we mark D and then G, we should be able to find all of the G's. It does not necessarily mean that you're playing only 2 notes, but you're playing it in sequence. Okay? So for example, D, and then there's a G here. And then D, there's a D here. And then you will find the next G here. And then there should be a D here. Then there's a G here. D and G. Now, if we look for the third, so major third of B, that would be a D sharp. So let's mark that using red. So you'll be able to find all of the thirds of B. Right, so there's also one here. And there's a B here. Okay. So I'm playing it as in a sequence. So what's a harmonic interval? It's basically playing it together. So if we use the same example, B and the major third, we're just playing it together. Or If we find the 6 of A, let's look for the 6 of A here. Major 6 here. A and F sharp. So let's mark A and F sharp. So there's like a gap. So A and F sharp. Okay, so if I play, harmonic intervals, that would be, and then other intervals also. And then right, that's a harmonic interval. So if I'm playing melodically, then I'm playing a sequence. So if I play it together, that would be a harmonic interval. Allow me to use this analogy. The 12 notes represent the alphabet. Melodic and harmonic intervals represent syllables. A short musical idea represent the words. If we connect short musical ideas, be it melodic or harmonic, it can become a phrase, a musical phrase. Connecting musical phrases can make up sentences. Words and sentences can convey different ideas. You can ask questions, or you can provide an answer, express joy, anger, longing, or frustration. It can seem mysterious or majestic, obvious or obscure, exciting or boring. Our job as musicians is to turn these 12 notes into language. We have to be good stewards of it. I hope that you have learned a lot from this video. Please consider sharing it with your friends so we can reach and help more people. I would like to invite you also on my YouTube page. I have been uploading the same set of videos to reach more people. Thank you and see you next time.